everyone, this is Tales of Swordfall, but not Tales of Swordfall. Who am I with
Gasp.
tonight?
You're with Guy. Hi, I'm one of the Purple Group regulars, but tonight I am playing. Let's see, what is my name? Oh yeah, Rena Universe.
And I'm normally also in Purple Group, and tonight I'm playing Sylvia Crimehild, and she is a shifter barbarian.
And my name is Malakhar, and I'm playing Taraz, a cleric monk. I'm here for the fun.
And you're here from our Discord server.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thanks, guys.
And
Yeah, great to have you.
if you're wondering, we do have a Discord server that you can actually join. We're trying to do more things like this, where we're doing one-shots that are just really fun, that we're just exploring different, like, systems and ideas of D&D. And tonight, because of a conversation earlier on Twitter, which we're at Swordfall D&D if you haven't been following us, there was a discussion about having anime openings from the 90s, and I started watching some, and I was like, man, a like just crazy balls to the walls anime session would just be awesome. So I just started asking around, and this is going to be the product of that, and hopefully it's entertaining.
It should be.
It should be.
Yeah. I mean, Rena Universe is totally not inspired by Lena Inverse, and totally doesn't have tons of fire spells. And yeah, it kind of does.
I mean, that's from the 90s. Anime didn't exist before 2001. We all know this.
Heresy!
Okay.
There's going to be so much chaos.
Oh, you're playing with us. There's always so much chaos. Talking about chaos, we're going to keep the initiative order that we rolled before we started recording, and we're gonna actually kind of roleplay out an actual anime opening scene. So what we're gonna do is you guys are gonna describe, like, the little splash screen we see your character on, you know, rotating amongst the stars, or like doing some kind of fire blast, or punching a tree in half, or whatever. And yeah, I'll start up the thing by saying that first we're flying over the land of Kyoki. Over the Four Kingdoms, there are birds or some kind of white smudges that look like birds that are flying over it. We see a cliffside, we zoom into it, and there's three figures standing there. So, first, what do your characters look like to us, the audience?
Who's going first? Does it matter?
Let's just do it in the turn order we have. So, Rena, you go first.
Walking down the path is a fairly young lady, around her mid-late teens. She's dressed what you would think is fairly obviously some sort of magic caster. She has long, red, wavy hair, wearing a cape and I'd say fairly colorful clothing, sort of red themed. And she carries with her jewels upon her wrists and belt as her arcane focus items.
Yeah. Okay. Next would be Sylvia. What are you?
Yeah, Sylvia.
Yeah.
She in her shifter form, she would be almost like an albino, but with very, very longer claws, and gold eyes. Normally, her hair is it's brown with like hues of gray mixed in, a very, very like off brown. Most of her clothes is basically a big black fur cloak on her back. She's dressed well for winter. Lots of furs and just stuff that she's found from the wild, like little ornaments, small skulls, rabbit feet for good luck, stuff like that. Around her, attached to her waist, is many pouches, belts, maps, things like that. And just a various amounts of brown. She really likes brown and black, just cool, warm, wintry sort of tones. But yeah.
And Taraz is walking down the pathway, overseeing a cliff. He's got a brown cloak on, and underneath is a greenish color gi. He has short black hair, few tattoos across his body. Um, None can be really made out in this fast cut pace scene. And he looks up and notices that there are creatures to fight, and without hesitation, he just jumps off the cliff, runs down the side of the cliff, and engages the bandits in fisticuffs. Once finished, he sits there on a rock, eating some beans and enjoying the view.
Nice. Cool.
So I was like, I was kind of caught off guard with doing the whole intro thing.
If you want
Same.
give it another go?
Yeah, if you want to add more,
I totally did cop out. So I was like,
if you want to add more action to it, go ahead. Like the beat starts picking up, we start getting into like the meat of our anime intro music, where it's like that earworm piece that just starts catching everyone, and you're like, I can't get this out of my head. So, what are your characters doing during this part?
Oh, okay. So we're supposed to be doing actions and stuff. I get it.
Yeah, like Guy, you can go first.
While walking the path, Rena sensed some foe nearby, off in the bushes. It's probably a bandit ready to attack. That bandit jumped out onto the road. Not just one, but 2, 3, 4, 5 of them, all right in front of her, just 30 feet right up the path. And they said, "You're gonna come with us, little lady." With a smirk and a little, "Yeah, right" comment, she holds her hands up above her head and begins saying, "Source of all power, flame which burns beyond crimson, let thy power gather in my hands. Fire!" And instantly all the bandits are engulfed in a flame of explosion, and they blast them apart to the ground and pick themselves up real quick and run off, tails between their legs, for those of them who had tails.
You just made me so happy.
Love it.
Love it. Okay, what is Sylvia doing during her little action scene during this opening?
Sylvia is at first trying to basically figure out what these ruins say, running her hand along it. Then all of a sudden she takes a deep breath, realizes how cold it is. You can see her breath in the air, and she hears something peculiar. She turns around. It's very dark, and she sees a wyvern out of nowhere, sort of in the cave, and start to approach her. And she, with fear, bursts into her bestial form, her eyes bright gold, and she races at it with her maul, and she just takes it down with a screaming battle cry.
Taraz, sitting on the rock eating his beans, sees off in the distance a large fireball. A large beast sounds can be heard off in the distance, and he just sits there and goes, has that look on his face as more bandits just rush towards him. And he's like, no rest for the weary, and he gets back up and begins the attack.
And then after all these scenes take place, we have the usual posing of each and every character. Maybe a few scenes from the actual show. A few faces that we're not sure who they are yet because this is only the first episode. And, we have that last pose of everybody standing in a group with the bad guy looming in the shadows over them. What kind of pose do you strike? Guy, go for it.
Rena, looking at any foes remaining, just stands there, almost lackadaisically, just head back a little bit, laughing. You think you have a chance against us? Gives her hair a flick as she readies her next spell.
Okay. I should really be calling you by your character stance. Sylvia, what kind of pose do you strike for the last shot?
Okay, before she goes in, she tries to remain her composure as she breathes in, almost just coming out of the rage and trying to remain composure so that she can be organized in her thoughts for the last shot.
Taraz will take the stance of a martial arts form ready to take on any incomers, and then he relaxes his pose and holds up the peace sign with his 2 fingers, and a big cheeky grin from ear to ear.
Nice.
Nice.
And, the words of our show go across the screen, which we'll probably think of a lot later. And then, pilot episode. I can't think of a name right now. Probably will be like, Enter the 3 Heroes or something like that.
Tales of Swordfall animated.
Yeah. But this has nothing to do with the plot of Tales of Swordfall. Yeah, because this is a 90s anime that someone decided to write the script of. So, we get the establishing shot. We're over the kingdom of Hokobu. We fly in and we see the large palace looming amongst the forest, and in both, well, with Japanese, but English trying to cover it, it's poorly subtitled. We see the words Castle of the Forest on it. And then underneath, we actually have the real term of Hatono Shiro. And we cut into the scene of inside the palace. There's lots of polished woods, there's large red pillars with snaking golden dragons around them. There's a large stage with many dignitaries and the king on it. And the doors open, white light shines in, your 3 silhouettes show, and you enter. What's your first reaction to this fancy ornate room?
Somebody who owns this has a lot of money.
Where are
Maybe
we?
they have a job for us.
So, where you are is the palace of the kingdom of Hokobu. It is one of the 4 large peaceful kingdoms. It is the one that has most of the wall that separates the civilized lands and the wild magic horde nightmare lands. And you have been invited here.
Oh, well, Taraz, noticing how nice this place is, he'll find a place to kind of knock the dirt off his sandals and perhaps try and put them somewhere so they won't collect any more dirt and Be mindful of the place.
And you're ushered in by armed guards on either side of you, and some courtier or a servant or something at like the other end of the room. Let's just say this room's like 500 feet long. It's a good like brisk walk all the way up to the stage and throne of the king. And you can hear from the distance, "My lord, the three adventurers." And he gives a grunt and waves his hand, which is just each finger seems to have a ring on it that glitters better than the next. He is wearing fine robes, silk, animal fur. He has this like long white straight hair, and it looks like he might be a half elf with his pointed ears. He kind of gives everyone a cool look as they approach.
Yeah, kind of skedaddle over there as they usher us and
Do
try to look as respectful as possible.
do we know this person?
You know this, the man sitting in the throne as the king. King, actually give me a history check to see if you guys remember what the king's name is.
Nope.
Nope. So why does the king's name not matter to what was your character's name again?
Taraz.
Taras.
Kingdoms, they want to expand, they want to destroy the nature, and I'm all for just, as Shantia guides, farm the lands, till the lands, fill your food with belly with food, and be kind to one another. And the emperor is trying to expand, set up forts, build greater walls. He just doesn't really care about it.
And it's almost as if Rena read his thoughts, and she mentions um pleasure to meet you, King. King Nobu. It's a pleasure to be here in your presence. First, may I ask, is there a lunch to precede this?
You see from his cool, collected face just a slight eyebrow tweak. You can't. Well, you could really look what kind of expression you just might have flared up, but something happened right there when you said it.
I'll nudge Guy afterwards. I'm like, it's okay. I have magic beans. They're good for you.
And then Rena's gonna whisper back, "Those magic beans aren't like roast chicken, though."
Yeah, but beans are good for you.
Chicken's good for you too. It's good for your heart.
Every time you roast the chicken, it comes out black. Beans are tasty.
Well, you're not cooking it right then.
You start hearing fingers, heavy weighted ringed fingers, kind of tapping on the arm of the throne.
Kind of snap back into that position.
My
like,
apologies for
Sorry.
for our idle conversation. Please, pleasure to meet you. Pleasure to make your acquaintance. I am Rena.
And he looks at the other two, expecting them to introduce themselves.
Taraz will just briefly step forward. I'm Taraz. He gives a bow and steps back.
She looks up and she sighs and says, "Why were we called here?"